Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, we're in the studio. We are live, so get involved in the chat and the comments. And a happy new year to you all. Loads of Manchester United news doing the rounds. Obviously, the transfer window is here, so we've got loads of transfer stories floating about. We'll be getting into all that. But before we do, make sure you are hitting like, share, and subscribe. Let's get to 800,000 subscribers. With your support, we can get there. Loads of people in the chat already. Make sure you lovely people are hitting that like button. Akash K says, morning all. Pinko says, we need to focus on attacking wing-backs if we have any hope in this system, not relying on one striker who won't get any service. Let's get into that then, because obviously the striker we're talking about is Viktor Gyökeres. Now, United have been linked with him almost as soon as Ruben Amorim arrived. Everyone was like, oh, we're going to go for Gyokeres. He can't stop scoring. We need goals. He knows the manager. The manager more or less, made him, but gave him the sort of the break that he needed and got him playing to the next level. It all makes sense that you can go out and get him. And he's a player that is attainable. Sporting are going to have to sell him eventually. Why not Manchester United? Now, there's some conflicting reports here going on about Viktor Gyökeres. There's one here, I think this was from the Star. Now, the MEN have had this morning, and I think it's come via the Star, so we've gone to the source of the original story. And I think this was yesterday, this was first published. And it says Manchester United will step up their bid to land Swedish hotshot Viktor Gyökeres in this month's transfer window. United manager Ruben Amorim has told club bosses he cannot wait until the summer to get Gyökeres and needs to sign him now. Amorim is expected to see Marcus Rashford and Joshua Zirkzee leave Old Trafford in the coming weeks. Done a couple of videos on that sort of front over the last few days. We spoke about Joshua Zirkzee, him getting booed. It's not happening for him at Manchester United. Spoke a little bit about Marcus Rashford yesterday as well. He did a post saying that I think it was the Sun, hashtag don't buy the Sun, had done a story saying he was chatting to an agency about facilitating a move. He sort of rubbished that claim, but it's obvious he doesn't have much of a future at Manchester United under Ruben Amorim. The player himself said he wants to move, and he's not getting any sort of minutes whatsoever. He's not even in the squad most games now under Amorim. So expect Marcus Rashford to move on and Joshua Zirkzee. Can you afford to do that and not bring anyone else in? Can Manchester United afford Viktor Gyökeres? That's the big question. 80 million quid, I think, is his buyout clause. Have United got that? We were told we didn't have much money to spend in January. Can you get players out the door to get that revenue in? I'm not so sure. Now, one thing that may be sort of hanging over the club or making the club a little bit nervous is this story seen from James Ducker, I think in the Telegraph, about the Adidas deal. Now, it says here, you can see there, Adidas have the power under terms of their kit deal with Man United to terminate the £900 million agreement at one full season's notice if club relegated from Premier League. Now, we spoke about this in a video yesterday about the dreaded R-word, relegation. I don't for 1 minute think Manchester United will be relegated. I'm not saying that. I think there's easily going to be at least 3 teams worse than Manchester United this season, despite the fact our form is actually relegation form. But are the club looking at it going, we need to make sure that that isn't even remotely a possibility? Bringing in someone like Gyokeres would more or less fix that well, not fix that problem, but help with a big problem we got when it comes to lack of goals. Would they think like that? Do you think the club would almost panic, if that's the right word, and try and make a big money signing in the January transfer window to get us going again? We know we're not scoring now. You might argue, well, you bring him in, he's still not going to get the service. Rasmus Højlund's not getting the service he needs. I understand that point, but we do need more goals. We do need a goal scorer. We haven't got one at the minute. Would the club think like that? I don't know. Let me know what you think, because, again, talk about conflicting reports. There's one in I think it was the MEN, when it spoke about going for Gyökeres, and just says the move will be surprising. Now, the MEN is sort of playing both sides here, because it's also got the story originally from the Star saying that Amorim wants Gyökeres in January, and then it's saying they don't think it's going to happen. That would be surprising. Let me know what you think. I don't think it'll happen, to be honest with you. I'd be very surprised if Manchester United signed Viktor Gyökeres in January. I don't think we've got the money. I don't think they're going to look at the Adidas thing with any real belief will go down, but I could be wrong. Let me know what you think. Whitterbird says, good morning. Aunt Elle says, morning peeps, how are we all? Aunt Elle says, Jay, I love Gyökeres, but we have financial issues and need to replace half the squad as well. Josh Cassidy, says, morning Jay, we need to strengthen 80% of our positions. We can't provide for the strikers we have. Legs in midfield first and then attacking wing-backs. Attacking wing-backs is a big thing. We'll get into that in a minute. In terms of some outgoings as well, there's a few players that have been linked with a move away. I mentioned Zirkzee. One who's also been questioned recently is Andre Onana. Now, we gave him the kiss of death on the channel. We were praising him. I think at one point I said I wouldn't swap him for anyone. It's not looking like the best comment I've made, to be honest with you. And that was only a few weeks ago. He's had a horrendous few weeks of it. He really has. He's made some big mistakes. He doesn't look confident at all. His defenders don't look confident in him. He's not commanding his area like he was. His distribution's gone to pot, and his shot stopping isn't what it should be. And that's basically everything a goalkeeper does. Commands their area, distributes the ball, and stops shots going in. So if you're not doing any of those three things, you're in serious trouble. So the story here in the Mirror says Ruben Amorim wants to sign a new goalkeeper in the wake of Andre Onana. Onana's inconsistent performances. United paid out big money to sign the Cameroon international from Inter back in summer 2022, but Onana has made a catalogue of high-profile errors since moving to Old Trafford. And while the 28-year-old has been in better form so far this season, Amorim wants to sign a new goalkeeper to push him in 2025, according to Manchester Evening News. So a lot of these stories are doing the rounds in different papers. Some have originated from the Evening News, some from the Star, some in the Mirror. But you get the gist. There's a lot of papers reporting the same thing. Andre Onana, he isn't Ruben Amorim's guy, is it? It wasn't like he bought him. This is what you can say about any Manchester United player. But you look at Andre Onana. Obviously, Erik ten Hag brought him in, made a big decision to let David De Gea move on and bring in Andre Onana. Now, I understood it at the time. I thought David De Gea was having a bit of a time of it. I know he had a lot of clean sheets, but he made some mistakes. He didn't look like David De Gea we'd seen pre-2018, and I felt it was the right decision to move him on. The question is, was it the right decision to bring in Andre Onana? Had a patchy first season, didn't he, if we're being brutally honest? And he's having a patchy season so far this season as well. Hasn't been great in the last few weeks. The manager might be looking at it going, I can't rely on this guy. I can't work with him. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let me get involved in the chat in the comments. I think we were linked with Bart Verbruggen, who I was talking about a little while ago and everyone was laughing at me. I think that name's been popping up again. Christmas Stanky says, Jay got his new Christmas gear on. Yes. Little jumper that I got off my daughter. Good spot. Danzig G says, Onana was just never it. Red Devil says, Jay, we need a player who can cross the ball. When's the last time we had a good crosser? Beckham. I mean, Valencia was good for a spell, wasn't he? Crossing the ball in. How long ago was that? About 12 years ago. It's been a while. It has. Most of our wingers now are inverted. Now we've got this wing back. We've got wing back system. You need wing backs who can cross the ball. Have we got those? Is Delo quite up to it? He's gone off the boil a little bit, hasn't he? Who else have we got who's played at wing back? Amad Diallo sometimes plays there. Is he the right guy? Tyrone Malassi's been back in the squad. We do seem to be struggling. I think wing backs is something we've got to look at. Joshua Zirkzee, there's a story here about how he'll fight. Joshua Zirkzee, where's this from? Sorry, is this the Mail? Joshua Zirkzee is attracting interest from Juve and Napoli, but will fight for his Manchester United future. I've spoken about Zirkzee, about the treatment he got in the Newcastle game. I did a video on it a day later. I wasn't impressed with it. I don't agree with booing players. I understand there's a lot of frustration from fans. I don't think it helps anyone, and I don't think it's something that we should be doing. It was just, for me, it was a sort of sad state of affairs. You can understand it if the manager and the player is having a chat and going, look, this isn't working. But according to the Mail, he's willing to stay and fight. His stock is still high, it says there, in Italy. Obviously had a very good season with Bologna, helped them get into the Champions League and was their top scorer. Could he go back to Italy and do well? Probably. I think a lot of players who struggle in England go to Italy, even if they've not been there before, and do quite well. We've seen players at Manchester United who've sort of rejuvenated their career or had a good end to the career by moving from United to Italy. We saw, I think Ashley Young went to Inter, Romelu Lukaku went to Inter. Also, we saw Chris Smalling went to Roma and did quite well. We're currently seeing Scott McTominay over there as well. So, you know, it can happen. But Joshua Zirkzee, according to the Mail, he's willing to fight. Although it says there, the Mail Sport has learned that both clubs are manoeuvring themselves into a position to strike for Zirkzee. Should it emerge, he can leave. That's Napoli and Juve. One to keep an eye on. It wouldn't shock me if he did leave in January, but I know he's only just got here, but obviously it's not working out. But according to some reports, he may be willing to stay and fight. Sleejo James John says, Ashley Young won the league. Yep, of course. IO says, just get rid. Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Manish Bandari says, Jay, Garnacho in 2023, Maino in 2024, who in 2025? Apparently looks like no one. Academy uprising needing. I think that we've got a lot of good academy players. I think the issue you've got is a lot of our best academy players are actually the younger age of the academy, like 17, just turned 17. So they're probably not quite ready yet to go into the first team. And you look at the name that everyone talks about is Chido Obi Mine. I think, is it just Chido Obi? I think now he calls him, he doesn't use the mine. He's a goal scorer, but he's just turned 17. Can you throw him into the Manchester United first team? Maybe there is talk. We spoke to Finn on the academy from the Academy Scoop, who said, "Look, I expect him to feature this season. He will get minutes, but is he going to be the guy that's starting games for Manchester United? Probably not." You look at some of the other players who've been in the squad. I think Kakonki's been in the squad. In the summer, we saw Harry Amas was featuring quite heavily for the first team. Again, I think these are sort of 17-year-olds. Sorry, so younger sort of age group are the ones that tend to be doing the best. Not beyond the realms of possibility, they could get some minutes. It's a double-edged sword in it, because part of me feels like, do give these youngsters a chance. The first team are performing terribly. Let's give kids a chance. But then you think, are you throwing them into a difficult situation which could hurt them in the long term? To be honest with you, the happy solution to all this would be the players that are on lots and lots of money pulling the socks up and getting us out of the mess they've got us into. That would be the ideal situation. Marcus Rashford, apparently United have agreed to sell him. This is from Gimme Sport, and they've got it via the Times. This is just, I think it's come out today, saying that Man United Chiefs have now decided it's the right time to offload Marcus Rashford, as he's no longer part of Ruben Amorim's plans, according to the Times. Calling me shocked on that one. I think we can all see that's happening, can't we? That United aren't going to keep him. He doesn't want to stay. He said he wants a new challenge. The manager's not using him. Even when he did put him on the bench, which was only because I think we had injuries, he didn't get any minutes against Newcastle. Look, if Marcus Rashford was part of Ruben Amorim's plans, if the manager rated him, which he did when he first got in, he played him, he started him, then he would have got minutes. He would have been playing against the likes of Newcastle. Antony's getting in above him. Antony's not exactly a prolific goal scorer. Joshua Zirkzee is struggling, he's getting in above him. Again, he's someone who's struggled at times. It's obvious the manager and Marcus Rashford just aren't going to work together. It is time to move him on, and I think that will happen sooner rather than later. We had Jamie Jackson on the channel I think it was last week, and he said the most likely solution to all this is he goes out on loan and United eat a chunk of his wages. I think that's what'll happen. We did it with Alexis Sanchez, didn't we? We sent him to Inter and we ate some of his wages, and I think that's what's going to happen here, because he's on big money. I think it says there 325k a week. Is anyone going to pay that? I'm not so sure they will. United might have to say to someone, look, we'll pay whatever, 150 or whatever, and you pay the rest. We'll wait and see. Let's talk about Michael Oliver. This is our tweet yesterday. Michael Oliver will referee Liverpool versus United this Sunday. He's the referee. I mean, it's just rewarding failure, isn't it, really, with Michael Oliver? He's like Teflon. How is he sort of regarded as the best referee in the country or whatever, a referee that is the go-to guy for the big games, when he gets so many big decisions wrong? That one that we had up on the screen then, that was the sending off of Diogo Dalot, where he basically spat his dummy out, didn't he, Oliver? Not Dalot. Dalot reacted like every single player reacts in almost every decision, and he gave him 2 yellows straight away. It was like Michael Oliver just, like, I don't know, spat his dummy out because Dalot reacted in a way. Completely unprofessional, a disgraceful decision. And I was watching a few games after that, saw so many players react the same way that Diogo Dalot did, and none of them got a second yellow. Just biased nonsense. Then you look at the West Ham game more recently, Erik ten Hag's last game. Listen, Erik ten Hag was probably doomed anyway. I'm not saying that would have, you know, he would have kept his job had that penalty not been given. But it was a poor decision. And that came from, I think, Michael Oliver in VAR. He's just not a good referee for me. And he's biased. He shouldn't be refereeing Manchester United games. That's my opinion. He's a Newcastle fan, and I know it's not exactly us and Newcastle going toe-to-toe for top 4 in a minute, but even so, look at the history we've had with Michael Oliver. I go back years. Remember when Joe Hart stuck his head in his face and didn't get anything, didn't get a yellow card in the Manchester derby. He's just, I think he's a terrible referee. I don't think he should be refereeing our games. Joe or Sleejo, James John says he will try to send Bruno off. Io says absolute joke. He gets the referees again. Listen, I know we're going to struggle against Liverpool anyway, but we don't need to make it harder for ourselves having a referee who's completely incompetent. Let's talk about Casemiro. I think Fabrizio Romano did a tweet. When's this from? Sorry. This Fabrizio Romano tweet, it was yesterday. So you just scroll down again. Let's have a look. Yep, not only Eriksen and Lindelof, Casemiro could also leave United in January or summer window. Well, you know, wow, really? You've proper stuck your neck out there, Fabrizio, haven't you? He could leave in January or maybe even the summer. Yeah, obviously. The club must sell players in order to bring in new ones, and the Brazilian midfielder remains available in case of good proposal. I mean, I get Romano does cover a lot of news, and he does a very good job of it as well, but that genuinely feels like a tweet for the sake of tweeting, doesn't it? Like, Casemiro might go in the summer or in January. Me dog could have told us that. Antony's another player that's been linked with a move away from Manchester United. I think we've got a story here. Mate, I was reading this morning, and it almost gave me an headache. Right, the feeling here is that basically Fabregas at Como want a player from Betis, I think, and if that happens, then they get the player from Betis. I think there you go, Asan Diallo. I've probably pronounced that completely wrong. Forgive me. Then Betis will want Antony. That is the gist of this. There you go. You can see, according to Spanish outlet ABC, Antony is on the list of potential targets that Betis would be happy to explore. I mean, that's the most wishy-washy statement ever, innit? He's on a list of potential targets that Betis would be happy to explore. Well, there you go. Pack your bags, you're going. I mean, that means how many's on that list? And what does it mean, happy to explore? I'm not so sure he's going to be got a real Betis anytime soon. But we'll let you know. We'll keep you posted. Get involved in the chat in the comments. Dio's apparently on his way to Betis. There's no, Como, sorry. Dio's on his way to Como. There's no, I think that's a given. But is Antony on his way to Betis? Because they're exploring potential targets and he's on that list. What? I don't know. You know my thoughts on Antony. I don't want to keep repeating myself because people will start accusing me of having an agenda. I just don't think he's good enough. You may disagree, by all means. Santa Notch is in the chat. Good to see you, Santa Notch. Hope you're having a good new year. Let's talk about left backs. We've been linked with some. There you go. This is from Chris Wheeler, who's been on the channel. This is our tweet, obviously. It says, United are tracking Porto left back Francisco Moura, although he didn't play against Boavista when scouts were present. There you go. The number one target at left wing back is still believed to be Nuno Mendes, who played for Amorim for 2 years at Sporting Lisbon. Are we going for, like, let's get all Amorim's former players here, or let's get players he knows, like we did with Ten Hag? We've explored the Dutch league, now it's the Portuguese league. Is that going to be the new approach? I don't care what the approach is, as long as we start signing some players, and players that are good, obviously, because we need to bring in reinforcements. This squad looks absolutely shocking at the minute. Players aren't playing in the right position, and they're not performing at the standards that we need at Manchester United. And the fact that we're even remotely talking about the possibility, there sounds like a transfer story, remotely talking about the possibility of relegation speaks volumes for where we're at. Colin Wilmot says, Jay, will Diego Leon get a game this year? I mean, don't think so. I think this is the kid we bought, innit? I think he's bought him and then he goes back to... Oh, this year. Sorry, he might after the summer, yeah. Not this season, sorry, yeah. He could get a game this year, but it'll be next season. Sorry, I get your point there. Ready Steady Cook says, Gyokeres don't want to play in the Championship again. That's a very good point, that. Ready Steady Cook. I like what you did there. Harry Potter says, when's the young South American lad coming in? I've got a feeling he's going to bash men up. Yeah, I think this is Diego Leon, who someone else was just asking about there. I think it's next season he's going to be coming in. I mean, we did a video on him. Well, we did, me and Finn from Academy Scoop spoke about him, so you can check that out as well. Akash K says, Jay, how much of this mess is SJR's fault? Sir Jim Ratcliffe, he's not exactly made himself Mr. Popular, has he? Or Mr. Ratcliffe, or Sir Jim Ratcliffe, with some of the decisions he's made. We've spoken about this. Again, I've done quite a few videos recently talking about these topics, about things like cutting the funding for the ex-players fund, cutting the funding, or some of the funding towards the Manchester United Foundation, 66 quid for ticket prices. What else have we got in the sort of the locker there? Laying off some of the staff, cutting the Christmas bonus. Decisions that aren't too popular. But if they're effective, people will stomach it. That's what we need to see from Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos. I know it's not going to happen overnight, but we need to see decisions that are effective for Manchester United and get United back to where we belong. This club belongs at the top of the table. It belongs challenging for Champions Leagues and Premier League titles, not worrying about whether Adidas are going to cancel their contract with us because we've been relegated to the Championship. I'm going to leave it there. Dan United 94 says, Jay, please can we start calling you Sir J. Motcliffe? No, let's not do that. I appreciate the sentiment, but let's not do that. Thanks to everyone who got involved in the chat and the comments. Oh, there's one more. Cyrus says, how reliable is Alex Crook's story on Amorim? Go on then. You've tempted me with that last little super chat there. Alex Crook from TalkSport said that United looked at Ruben Amorim in the summer, but didn't want him because they felt his style of football wouldn't suit the squad we had. That's what I think the story is. I'm remembering it off the top of my head here. The issue with that is it true? And also, why is it coming out now? Alex Crook does have some sources. He has broke some stories. He's not 100% reliable. I won't call him anywhere near tier one journalist. Obviously, TalkSport don't tend to have the top journalist, but he said here, you can see what he said. I know this for a fact that Man United were offered Ruben Amorim in the summer. They said no because his style didn't fit the squad. Then they hired him weeks later. It doesn't fill you with confidence, does it? Offered Ruben Amorim is an interesting one. Who offered him? Was it his agent? Sporting wouldn't have offered him. They didn't want to lose him. Don't know. And also, let's not forget, two things happened this season. Ten Hag basically carried on from last season in terms of the league form, if not worse. And also, Ruben Amorim smashed it this season at Sporting. He can't ignore the fact that, yes, he had a good season last season when he won the title, but this season, I think they won almost every game. I think they drew, one in the Champions League, and other than that, they won every game. Like, that makes you look at him and go, wow, this guy is absolutely the real deal. Do we need to get him? So I know it's a little bit knee-jerk to go with what went on this season, but it is part of the reason Ruben Amorim is at Manchester United. Both what Erik ten Hag failed to do and what Ruben Amorim was doing this season at Sporting Lisbon. Going to leave it there. Make sure, if you're not doing already, you are hitting like, share and subscribe. We're going to be back later on today. We've got Off the Bar, me, Joe Smith and Adam McCullough. Also as well, we'll be previewing the Liverpool game. That'll be coming up soon. So make sure you are subscribing to the channel. I've been Jay Motty. This has been The Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.